Shalom Israel, giving honor and praise to the Most High God for the reading and the understanding of His Word. And family, before we even get this started, I told y'all last week who is going to celebrate and bring this in right with me here tonight. So for those of you that actually decided that we are going to celebrate this here together, all cheers and praise to the Most High. Thank you so much. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, after tonight's lesson, I know I'm going to need that. Now, let's do what we always do. I want to wish every king, every queen, every prince, and every princess, I want to wish you a wonderful, magnificent Sabbath. And once again, thank you for bringing this in with your brother this week. This is going to be a special night. This is going to be such a special night. Let me just go ahead and tell you right off the rip right now. First of all, number one, we are going to be talking about a subject that I know is going to piss off so many people. And I'm going to say this right out of the gate. If you get offended, good. Because you should be. Because the scriptures that I'm going to be bringing out tonight, if they touch you, then they were meant to. They were meant to touch you. They were meant to get inside of you. Now, we are going to be reading the story of Samson and Delilah, okay? That's no secret. It's on the advertising. But there's going to be some other scriptures that we are going to bring out here tonight that coincides with this story. And it's going to hit so many of you. And guess what? If it hits you, that's good. You know why? Because it means that there's things in your life that you must change. Now, I'm not responsible for them. The only thing that I'm responsible for tonight is bringing it out and making sure that it gets into your spirit. So whatever. Okay, you know the terms. Y'all know the damn terms. And hopefully nobody watching this, male or female, falls into that category. Let me read it again. Then went Samson to Gaza and saw there an harlot and went in unto her. So as soon as he got to the land of Gaza, he went ahead and broke himself off in this harlot. That's what he did. I'm trying to be respectful of our princes and princesses as I bring this out. But remember, these are biblical stories. These are the things the Most High wants us to know. And there is no rating on the Bible, all right? So, hey, if you're too sensitive about your children hearing these types of things, then you need to fix yourself, because this is in the Bible. Verse 2. And it was told the Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him, meaning that they surrounded him, and they compassed him in, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, in the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him. So they knew that Samson was up there with the harlot getting some booty. So they said, you know what, we're going to wait. And we are going to surround him, and then in the morning, we're going to kill this nigga. Okay? So these people were nosy. They knew his business. But they also knew who Samson was. I want you to understand, Samson was a renowned man. Okay? You're going to find this out as we go through this. Remember, I said that. But they also knew that Samson was a hoe-ass nigga as well. Alright? Calling it what it is. Calling it what it is. Verse 3. And Samson lay till midnight. Now look, Samson has some smarts. And Samson lay till midnight and arose at midnight and took the doors of the gate of the city and the two posts and went away with them, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders and carried them up to the top of an hill that is before Hebron. So if you don't understand what Samson did, Samson knew. Samson was intelligent. Samson was different than all the rest of the men that he surrounded. Samson was not an idiot. So he went ahead, he got him some flesh, he got him some booty, and he already knew what they were going to do. So guess what he did? He took the pillars, the doors, the bars, and everything with it, and put it on his shoulders. Do you understand what that is saying and how strong this brother was? Do y'all get that? Do y'all understand this? For this brother to pick up the doors and the pillars and everything else and took it with him. I don't think y'all picked up on that. I don't think y'all saw the super strength in this book. I'll tell y'all something. Clark Kent / Kal-El / Superman don't have a damn thing on Samson. And this is real. Okay? Not some story made up by Esau, which is what they get from us in the first place, because the story of Superman is nothing but the story of Moses, but has nothing on him. This is real life. This is what actually happened one day in the past. Alright? Verse 4. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. Okay, so gotta break this down a little bit. He loved this woman. Love. Now, understand, this is not his wife. This is not his wife. So what does it mean when he said that he loved this woman? He loved how she put it on him. That's what it's talking about. Alright, verse 5. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means may we prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. So what was going on right here? So what's happening right now is that all of the lords of the Philistines went to Delilah and was like, okay, we know what y'all getting ready to do, so we need you to entice this brother, all right? So during the moment of climax, we want you to ask him this question like, hey, where does your strength lie? And then we're going to pay you to find that information out and then bring it back to us, because we are trying to kill this man. Now, for those of you that don't know the history of Samson and the Philistines, Samson used to weigh them niggas out. Samson used to kill the Philistines and kill them in high numbers. So Samson is the enemy of the Philistines. The enemy. They hate this man. Why? Because Samson was so much of a different man. You're going to find out as we read this. You are going to read and hear things that you've never heard before. Let's continue. Oh, and before we go, I have to make this 100% certain. Delilah was a prostitute. Okay? She was a prostitute. She was a whore. And it says it right here. How do we know? Why do I call her a prostitute? Because they gave this woman money to entice this man, and enticement means sex. Okay? Alright. I bet you never heard it like this in a Christian church. Okay. Verse 8. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up... Well, hold on. Time out. Wait, let me make sure. Okay, no. Verse 6. Excuse me. Verse 6. And Delilah said unto Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth? Where does your strength lie? And wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee? So she's asking him, where's your strength? Where does all your strength come from, Samson? Verse 7. And Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green whips that were never dry, then shall I be weak and be as another man. So right here is what I wanted to start hitting on right here. How Samson is talking about, I'm going to be like another man. Now, if y'all not picking up what's going on right now, Samson knows he's different than everybody else. Samson already knows this. Samson knows who he is, and he's going to tell you who he is here later. I don't want to get to it yet. But he said, look, if they get 7 green whips that have never been dried and bind me up with it, then I'm going to be weak. Watch this. Verse 8. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green whips, which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Alright, so she took his advice. Now, there were men lying in wait. So they were watching her do this. They're like, okay, here it is. So she's about to bind him up. She's going to bind him. So now we're going to wait. And when he's bound, we're going to get this nigga. Abiding with her in the chamber. So they was in the chamber. They was in the house waiting. Oh, so you know what they saw too. Oh, nasty. And she said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he brake the withs as the thread of tow is broken when it toucheth the fire. So his strength was not known. So even with those withs, and withs are strong, very strong. And Samson has made an effort to just pop them. Verse 10. And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. So he's like, nigga, you lied to me, you mocking me, you lied to me. So you know Samson's sitting there laughing at her, like, you stupid broad, you idiot. You really think for 1 second that I'm gonna tell you what makes me weak? Like, are you an idiot? And so Samson's sitting there laughing at her. That's why she got mad. Like, you mocking me, you lying to me. But remember what I said earlier, that Samson loved this woman, okay? I hate to say it this way, but I'm gonna keep it PG, but Delilah had that good, all right? And you're gonna find out later. All right? Verse 11. And he said unto her, if they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. So there's Samson throwing it in her face again. Like, listen, if they bind me up with these new ropes, now I'm not sure of those of you that actually work with rope, okay? And I mean the real rope, like the fiber ropes. Those things are damn near impossible to break, okay? You might as well have metal chains around you. But guess what? Samson's not telling her, okay, bind me up with this new rope. Bind me up with this new rope. And if you do that, I'm going to be like any other man. Verse 12. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait, abiding in the chamber. And he brake them from off his arms like a thread. Now, fellas, kings and princes, I want y'all to think about this here. I want you to think about this. I know many of you know what the ropes are. Imagine a brother so strong that they bound this brother up and he broke it like a thread. Like a thread. You know how you pull a piece of thread off of your clothes and broke it, snapped it. Showing you just how strong Samson truly was. Now, do you know all throughout our people, do you know there are so many Samsons? So many of our brothers who just have this super freakish strength. And do you know where they end up? On the football fields. Unfortunately, yeah. All of these big Samsonite brothers. And they take all of their strength and give it to Esau. I know that touched a lot of y'all, but the truth is the truth. So many of our kings and princes, and they get them when they're young. Esau sees their strength when they are very, very young. And you know what they call it? They call it the Pee-wee Leagues. And all they're doing is building up our Samsons to play for them. It's true. Don't get mad. It's true. All right? Verse 13. And Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Like, nigga, you lied to me again. Tell me wherein thou mightest be bound. She getting mad now. Tell me, nigga, tell me where thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. So he's like, okay, go ahead and braid my hair in these locks and lock it up with a pin. Verse 14, and she fastened it with a pin and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awakened out of his sleep and went away with the pin of the beam and with the web. All right, so again, y'all have to read between the lines with this here. For one, the Most High is making this very evident as far as what's going on, all right? They're having sex, and she's catching him in his so-called moment of weakness as all of this is going on. All right, and she keep asking him and keep asking him. Oh, trust me, fellas, when I say this is gonna be something later. It's gonna be something later. All right, verse 15. And she said unto him, how canst thou say I love thee? So she even knew. Alright, so you guys have to understand this here with Delilah. How she knew that she had, remember back in the day, remember that song, that the whip appeal, remember that? I know y'all remember that. Oh God, I just told my age. And she was throwing it on him. Alright, so she had it, she knew she had him. Then thine heart is not with me. Let me start from the beginning with that. And she said unto him, how canst thou say I love thee when thine heart is not with me? So now she's playing with his psychology. Now she's getting into his mental. She's going to start playing with his emotions now. Fellas, pay attention. And she said unto him, how canst thou say I love thee when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. Now remember, Samson is not to reveal where his strength comes from. He is not to tell anybody this. But now she went right ahead and got into his psyche. Got right there. Used as today what they call a Jungian archetype. For those of you who are not familiar with the so-called philosopher Jungian or whatnot, that you probably should familiarize yourself with this man, evil bastard. But guess what? I'm just going to show you that they were doing this a long time. Okay, there's nothing new. Verse 16. And it came to pass when she pressed him daily, with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death. Woo! Woo! Now, fellas, how many of you have been with a woman all your